Guys, today's show is all about trying to keep up. So much is changing in the sports world, not just in sports, but everywhere. So I'm curious, was there a trend that you were so excited about, but all of a sudden it changed too quickly? You wanted it to stick around just a little bit longer.
Mine is the pager. I wish we still had beepers, man. So we didn't have the internet in our pockets. Woo. People couldn't hit us anytime they wanted to. It felt like it was, we had to oblige them by talking at all times. You just get that 911 text, you knew to take your ass home.
I wish we had flip phones again.
Yes.
Because I want to just sometimes on my phone. I just
You're banging on somebody, right?
Just
get rid of the internet. If we wanted to go back to 1988 technology, I would fully support that.
Let's rock out.
I'm totally fine with that.
Okay.
I'll bring the Atari.
I don't care for low expectations.
Yeah.
I care for the best of the best, for iron sharpens iron, for the dog eat dog. This is where I live.
Robert, Jason, we got a lot cooking on today's episode. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it out on this week's rundown presented by the City Strata Elite Card. Rewards where it counts. First up, baseball's back, baby. Cracker Jacks, peanuts.
I like a snack.
Yeah, I'll get a good bag of peanuts.
Well, we're going to break down everything you need to know about the MLB season, including 3 striking storylines that's going to give us a little bit of insight into what you can expect this year. And then, in honor of March Madness, your presence is requested at a funeral for amateurism in college basketball.
Stuff.
It had a good run,
Thoughts and
but
prayers.
it's time to acknowledge the truth about our future, okay? And reflect on what we've lost. At moments like this, we got to lean on each other, right?
Yeah, it'd be your strength.
That's right.
Yep.
Finally, our very own Marcus Thompson II is back, and he is here to share his recent interview with Olympic sprinter Noah Lyles. Noah's got a master plan, and he's got a lot to say. And when he talks, you're going to want to listen.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. Take me out to the ball game. Take
we got to ride it out now.
To the, I don't know the rest of the words. That's where I want to go there, guys. I do. However the song goes, I want to go because regular season baseball officially kicked off on Wednesday. And to get us prepped and ready for what to expect, we got Keith Law here, senior baseball writer for The Athletic. Welcome to the show, Keith.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so there's a lot going on in the baseball world right now. There is a looming lockout threat. I feel like, okay, all right. Keep it on the low. We got some managers on the hot seat. The Mets are going all in. Things are on Netflix. I mean, we want to know, what are the 3 most striking storylines for you heading into this season?
So the thing I hear about most from readers now, fans, even scouts are talking about it, that's where I spend most of my time, is we've got the automated ball strike system now. And we've been talking about these sort of robot umps for years. This is the first time we're actually seeing it in the big leagues. They've had it in AAA and a couple of other minor league setups for a couple of years now. But we saw in the first game on the one that was on Netflix the other night, we actually had our first actual challenge. And I believe the umpire was held out. But the thing I like about it, in addition to just maybe we'll just get some calls right for now, is the fans get very into it. I don't know if you guys have seen the setup where they put it up on the scoreboard, they visualize the pitch coming in. And when I've been at minor league games, Arizona Fall League games, fans really like it. They start cheering. I was at a game a couple of years ago where an ump got like 4 in a row wrong, and then so finally he got one right, and you could hear there was like a little derisive.
Okay.
Oh, I was
Like,
thinking the other way. Get unruly.
The Bronx cheer.
Yeah.
The Bronx cheer.
It's the minors. The big leagues is probably going to be a little, at Philly, they'll probably throw batteries.
Take it easy.
Yes,
Take it easy.
I live near there. I can say that. So that, to me, that's the biggest change I think that fans are going to notice immediately. I'm into it. Like, I was into the pitch clock a couple of years ago. Pitch clock has changed my life. I get home 20 minutes sooner from any game I go to. Same amount of work in a smaller amount of time.
It works for attention span.
We had a playoff game last year with the Padres. I'm totally blanking on
It was the Cubs. It was a terrible call.
Okay, so you know
as a
exactly
Cubs
the
fan,
one I'm
it was a
talking about.
terrible
All I had
call.
to say, and you were like, "Oh, I know what one
Yes.
you mean," and it changed the series.
Yeah.
Yes.
That to me-
Padres are still pissed about
That's
it.
They
the
should be.
benefit. Yeah, they absolutely should be. That is the benefit of having this, is that hopefully we see this show up in those high leverage spots later in games. What I don't want to see is it's the first inning and one team exhausts all their challenges because one hitter goes up there. He's like, I'm right and you're wrong.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
Yeah, the ego plays.
Where they're just constant.
Yeah.
Right. Second inning, it's like, we have no challenges left. Thanks a lot, Bob.
Yeah, I can't wait till he gets confused too. Like a guy is, adjusting his and it's like the bottom of the challenge. Yeah, we had a challenge on nothing, right? So I can't wait.
I like the crowd element of this. I hadn't thought about this because when you're in a stadium and with football replays and challenges, there's always like they show the replay, the entire crowd cheers. There's a level of an engagement, and now I love when something just happens in a sporting event and fans do emotion. Like if you're watching a basketball game and there's a travel, you just inherently go like this.
Yeah, right.
So now when we have a challenge of baseball, everyone in the crowd is just going to be going like this.
Oh, I mean, in basketball, it's
going like that.
Rolling the finger.
I'm into this. I like that part of it.
I was out at the spring breakout games, these prospect games they were doing, and only the pitcher, the hitter, or the catcher, they're the only ones who can actually do the challenge, but you will see other players being like,
going crazy. Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly what it is.
I'm into it. I like just weird pantomime.
Yes.
So if we get more of that, we're good.
Okay, strike one is robot umps. Let's hear strike two, Keith.
So it's the Dodgers, right? Are the Dodgers going to win again? The Dodgers, I predicted the Dodgers to win the most games in the regular season. I didn't predict them to win the World Series because that's really boring. But that is another one of the biggest things that I hear from readers. Why should I even watch baseball this season? Because the Dodgers are going to win again. And I'm like, okay, really? Yes, they are the best team on paper. Yes, they they gilded the lily by going outside the best free agent. Best team doesn't always win. There's plenty of other really competitive teams this year. Robert and I were talking about the Mets earlier. You seem a little...
I'm more concerned about you because you decided that you were going to believe in a lot of the things the Mets were doing. Sure. And are you uncomfortable doing that? Because sitting in that seat, I would be deeply uncomfortable about having that.
That lineup is crazy.
It's one of the few fan bases where if I say bad things about the Mets, they're like, you're a Mets hater.
But the irony is there's no bigger Mets haters than Mets fans.
Mets fans, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm curious, you talked about the best teams that spend a lot of money don't always win, but there are tons of teams that have also spent money in recent years trying to be similar to the Dodgers, no?
Oh, yeah, including the Mets, right?
Mets, yeah.
Right, with the Juan Soto contract, which he was fine. He wasn't the problem last year. The Mets were, we need starting pitching. And they went out and they made a trade, and they have Nolan McLean now, who's going to be in the rotation. Looks like they addressed their actual problems. I'm higher on the Orioles because they went out, said our starting pitching stunk last year, and it did. They trade for Shane Baz. They bolstered both the rotation and the bullpen, and they're getting some guys back healthy in the lineup too. They did the right things. That's generally who I pick. My track record on predictions is also extremely poor. So I don't know if that makes you feel
it. I'm not the one that's out on the line here.
That's
I'm not picking the Mets to do anything because I know better at this point.
Halfway through a season, no one remembers what you predicted.
No. That's what you're hoping. That's what you're trying to tell yourself right now.
I have a deal with my editor. It's like there's just like a little secret button where she can just delete the whole prediction. I didn't make any predictions.
People will be like, I know I saw this on the site. Yes. I know I saw this. Okay, you're 2 strikes down. Give us strike 3.
Well, it's kind of perfect timing because just in the first couple of days of this season, we've seen a lot of really promising rookies come up, have an immediate impact. Kevin McGonigal, best prospect in the American League, goes 4 for 5 in his debut. Chased a lotter for the Guardians, hits 2 home runs. He debuted in the playoffs last year. This was his actual regular season debut. We saw Carson Bench homer for the Mets. We saw J.J. Weatherholt win the job for the Cardinals. There's a lot of really, really good young players. Even had somebody with Major League Baseball text me last night just saying, this was really fun seeing all these rookies do great things. And that is, I'm biased. That's what I do. It's the main part of my job. But yeah, this is exciting. We've got a whole new group of mostly hitters who are going to have a pretty big impact, not just on their teams, but I think on playoff races this year.
Who's going to be that team that you think surprises in how well they put it together, even though the whole might not, equate to a championship roster?
Well, the Giants are the one everyone's talking about because they hired Tony Vitello, who coached in college baseball. He took University of Tennessee. They were an embarrassment before he got there. He wins a national championship there. I don't know how that's going to translate. We haven't seen that before. Yeah. We don't see the guys going from the college ranks to the majors. There's so many managers. They all come from kind of the same coaching trees, and they try a lot of the same things, and shockingly, we get the same results. So I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. He could also be really bad, right? He goes from playing 4 or 5 games a week to now it's 6 or 7 games a week, and you've got to manage a whole team of personalities that's very different than what you have in the college ranks.
Oof, okay. Keith, I hate to break it to you, but according to the rules of baseball, 3 strikes, you want to call a challenge?
Yeah, you're challenging the rules.
Thank you for getting us started ahead of the MLB season.
My pleasure.
Dearly beloved, that's you, Robert, Jason. We are gathered here today to lay to rest something we've come to know and love dearly over the last many decades. Thank you. Amateurism in college basketball. Remember the Ides of March when the NCAA tournament had a heart of gold? Never met a stranger and it lit up every room. Well, heaven gained an angel because those times are gone. I just need it. Thank you.
I'm so sorry.
Because this March Madness has been the final nail in the coffin. At today's funeral, I'd like to ask that each of you and each of us eulogize amateurism, some feature that has officially passed so that we may lay it to rest with respect. Robert, go ahead.
The thing I'll miss is the fact that we used to have like real characters in college basketball. I was a teenager. College basketball was my favorite sport in like the mid 2000s. And I think about the team that sticks with me is like the 2002 Maryland team for whatever reason, like that Juan Dixon Maryland team. Juan Dixon was a senior. Byron Mouton was a senior. Lonnie Baxter was a senior that year. And those guys, we sat with them. We got to watch them grow with one team, with one program. The storylines built. Like those Duke Maryland games in like 2001, 2002.
High powered.
They build over time.
Yeah.
And now, like even you look at what Bennett Sturtz has done for Iowa in this tournament. He's been there for like 10 minutes. Like my HVAC filter and I have a longer relationship than him in Iowa. Texas, the two best players in Texas, they win 2 games. They just got there. Yeah. And so we just have no time to sit with these players, these teams. We don't grow with them. And even if the quality of the basketball gets better because we're cycling through these kind of professional players, I just think that overall the stories and the characters aren't what they used to be.
No. There was 2,000 transfers in the transfer portal last year.
You can't keep track of it.
Guys, that's an average of 5.5 players per team in the NCAA every year.
Yeah.
Half your roster is leaving to the portal. Okay. Robert, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Jason, what would you like to honor today?
Well, I usually come to funerals because people owe me money and it's time to collect from the family. But in this, I say that the game owes me nothing. I remember the yesteryear that Robert was speaking of in the days where...
Because you're older?
Yeah, I am. Okay. I am. And I every time I come to one of these things, I think, I'm on the back 9 of life. You know what I mean? I used to love watching a team knowing damn well that these kids would not make it into this university. If it wasn't for the basketball that was put in their hands, you guys wouldn't accept them on this campus, right? And now we have to shift that focus to NIL. We have to shift that focus to sponsorships. Shout out to Darius A. Cuff Jr., who is a freshman star at the University of Arkansas who just got beat, right? He now takes his talents to the NBA, but while he was there, he was the first men's athlete to land a signature shoe deal with a major U.S. brand, the Reebok folks, right? So the conflicts of interest going forward with shoe money and apparel money, I used to like those things being under the table, right? I love seedy coaches who had nothing to do with the curriculum of the school and were just there for basketball factory purposes. You know what I mean?
John Calipari this week coming out and being like, why would I recruit high school kids? They're pros that I can come be on my team. Yeah. And just to hear a major college basketball coach at a microphone, at a podium, saying that stuff, it is a very different world.
You're hearing kids saying, we got a job to do and finally mean it.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying? College basketball is as honest as it's ever been. And,
it's a business.
There's certain things that are guaranteed in life, and it's death and taxes, and both are happening in college basketball right now.
Called home too soon.
Go tell it on the mountain.
Finally, I'd like to say a few words as well.
Get yourself together now. Take your time.
Gone but not forgotten are the days when college basketball was just a group of kids playing basketball, just wanting to go out on the court, dribble up and down the court, make a few buckets.
And miss a few.
Oh, miss a lot.
Yeah, miss a lot.
And now the game is so strategized. It is at the rim or outside of the 3. This is unprecedented, the amount of points being scored at the D1 level. The top teams in D1 are averaging 90 points a game. There's more shooting, there's less turnovers. It's just more like an NBA pro model.
You miss like a 55-50 college basketball game.
You want people with human error.
Yeah,
and these kids are capitalized.
Yeah.
They are corporatized. They are true professional athletes at the amateur level. It's gone, y'all. These coaches are GMs.
Or they have GMs.
Or they have
actual
GMs.
Yeah.
What do you guys think is going to happen with amateurism?
Well, I mean, it's been dead for a while.
Yeah.
It's just this is the public viewing of the body. Some of it is the evolution, and some of it we can have the thoughts about nostalgia, the yesteryear, the things that we love so much. But, this is what happens. Life goes full circle on you right here.
It just feels like we're rooting for laundry now more than we ever have, because how can you possibly have a connection to these players? How can they possibly have a connection to the school?
It's also the death of the good old-fashioned hate of the blue blood, if you will, as well, right?
We hated JJ Redick, and people hated JJ Redick because they got to sit with him over time. Yeah. Like, that hate foments over many years. You become a character, and now who are you gonna hate? You hate the school and nothing else, and that's not fun.
When does Tyler Hansborough become Crazy Eyes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We need Crazy Eyes back.
Yeah, Psycho T. Yeah, Christian Laettner, right?
Christian Laettner.
4 years, 3 Final Four, something like that. One of the winningest players in college basketball history. But you remember him stepping on a Kentucky player's chest in Philadelphia.
Even Florida this year, Florida's back. Florida was a 1 seed. And you watch the Florida team, and it's like, oh yeah, that guy was on the team last year.
Yeah.
That was it. It's like, all right, there's that one guy. Remember that one guy, Alex Condon? He was pretty good. And that's the only carryover that we have. And I don't know. I don't like that.
May amateurism and all of these features of it live in our hearts forever.
It's a beautiful service.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You did it justice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I tried.
Yeah. Let the family get up first, though.
It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Okay, let's pick up the pace a little bit. We got a next story coming up. Oh, okay. Quick, guys. We have to rush into our main story. I'm doing that because we're talking about a very fast sprinter, sprinting superstar, Noah Lyles. Not iconic just for his explosive speed on the track. Looks a little like what I was just doing.
Exactly like that.
But also the fiery personality right behind it. And to take us on this ride, we welcome back Marcus Thompson to The Athletic Show. Welcome, Marcus.
Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
Feels like I was just here.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
Freaking flyer mouse.
There you go.
You're a basketball writer of repute. You know what I mean? All these years you've been putting that work in. But how did you find yourself with the assignment covering and talking about Noah Lyles, man?
Well, first off, I reject the box. I am an accomplished lyricist of sports.
True.
I've covered everything from girls water polo in high school to
Shout out.
you name it. So we started covering the Olympics, and we decided, all right, we're going hard on the Olympics, and they needed somebody black to cover track and field.
Let's get it. This is why he's here. That's why I'm glad he's here.
And like, who's gonna talk about black people? Marcus. Track and field it was. So
we hear a lot about Noah Lyles, about swimmers, about gymnasts during the Summer Olympics. But obviously these are athletes that are still participating in a lot of these things during the off time when we're not paying attention to it.
From the American perspective, they don't exist, right? They're just like kind of out there. It feels like I looked at it as like they were between relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
They get their love, and then it's like, man, I'm out here lonely. You keep hitting the clubs, you keep doing your thing, and then eventually they come back around. But they actually have a whole career, like with earnings and sponsors and all that stuff, that we're just like, man, where you been for 4 years, right? Like, so that they train all the time, right?
And so you talked to him in Boston.
Yes.
And so I think that speaks to maybe where these guys are and what they're doing in the off season when the Olympics aren't happening.
Yeah, it's a downtime, but it's not a downtime like we think. Like Noah was at the New Balance Invitational. Eventually, they all make their way to Europe somewhere where people care about track and field, and
they're more low key.
Yeah.
It makes sense why Noah Lyles feels like he has to bring a little bit more attention to this sport, which leads us perfectly into your interview. Let's see what you got for us.
All right, I want to start
at a familiar moment. Paris. That 100 race was the greatest race in history. Fastest man, like just the most riveting race. As a showman, what do you think about that accomplishment when you look back on it?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the highest moments in my career for sure. Being a showman, being an athlete, putting a story together, so many pieces being brought into the light. And those are the type of things you kind of dream of. And I would say it's definitely a dream about moment.
You made it at that point, right? Like, I mean, even you put up the thing, like, I'm here, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say made it. I'd say you made a mark.
Yeah.
For sure. I've seen tons of people who have made marks. But it's what do you do with the mark? You know, how do you make sure that the signature keeps signing throughout time?
What are the pressures of being Noah Lyles now?
Ooh. Well, it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
If you're Noah Lyles, I'd say it's making sure you don't upset your fiance every day.
Facts, though.
If you're
critical.
Somebody who's trying to walk a mile in Noah's shoes, I would say your pressures are going to be, how do you make it last the longest? But at the same time, stay having fun.
When you look at the landscape, there's like the LeBron James, the Patrick Mahomes, the Aaron Judge. Can a track star get to that level in America?
I don't see why we can't. I really don't. I'd say that really the only difference is a platform. You know, America has done a lot of marketing in basketball, football, baseball, hockey, but that doesn't mean it can't happen.
You call your shot, right? You say, hey, I'm about to do this, and then you go do it. And consistently you say, I'm elevating the sport, right? I'm building the sport. Why do you want that responsibility?
Why stay stagnant? I want to perform just as much as any of these other athletes on the biggest stages. If I can elevate the level that we're at, then those opportunities start to arrive. This is an untapped market. Come tap in before it gets too hot.
But for many people, you end up being the villain, the heel, the antagonist. Why are you so fine with that?
Sometimes you gotta do things against the grain. Not everybody likes to brush against the grain, but sometimes it gotta be done before you start making waves the other way. Everybody's willing to make a bad comment on a restaurant, but not everybody leaves a good one.
But look, as somebody who's covered many sports, I do feel like everywhere else is kind of gangster to say, hey, I'm about to go do this, and then do it, and then we celebrate that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that's appreciated as much as, say, maybe if you were a basketball player, you said, we're going to win a title, and you do it, we'd be like, man, that was cold. And you said, I'm about to win 100, and then you do it.
It's not appreciated when you say it.
Yeah.
But after you do it, it's appreciated.
You think there's a double standard where in a team setting, like I'm going to call it vocally competitive, right? Braggadocio. Is that feels like that's just a part of the game? Like, you know, do you feel like it's different for athletes in individual sports? There's more of a requirement to have decorum, so to speak?
Now that I've had a little bit of time to think about this, yes, in a sport that is individual, there is no team. It's you're following your favorite person, and that person is human.
Yeah.
And that fan base doesn't have to cheer for you. They have so many other options. There's not a home team. There's not an away team. It's just that person. But when you hear that your countryman is bragging to everybody and say they're going to get it done, you're going to rally behind that person.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you say that, I'm thinking about it. Like, for instance, Draymond Green, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Warriors fans who like, man, that dude is crazy, but
he played good basketball and he wins titles for us.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I want to be the person that gets everybody excited. I just knew I didn't want to be the person who's here to please everybody. I was in the press conference taking pictures. I did one normal and one where I'm sticking my tongue out. British photographer. No. Yes. Because guess what? You might use that normal one, but somebody out there is a publication that's catering to younger kids and younger fans, and they don't want straight edged and polished. They want a little gangster.
Yeah, a little gangster. We all like a little gangster. There's one thing about you is like, you love like the high stakes, the big moment.
Oh yeah.
When everybody's talking, when the best are out there, like that feels like that's your cup of tea. Like,
yeah, that's my happy place.
Why do you love that?
I was just built to win. I got no other answer. I mean, this is where I belong. I don't care to be in low stakes. I don't care for low expectations.
Yeah.
I care for the best of the best, for iron sharpens iron, for the dog eat dog. This is where I live. And this is just the stepping stone. I'm trying to go beyond the Olympics. I'm trying to make this a year-long thing. There's a storyline that's going along with it.
Another part about you, right, that I feel like people who didn't know you would probably appreciate. Man, you grew up with severe asthma. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You from the gully, right? You were bullied. When you look at where you are now, what did you learn about yourself? Who is Noah Lyles after getting through that?
Child of God, a man who has gone through resilience, who doesn't get scared at the sight of what is going to be hard, but gets excited about it. Somebody who's willing to sit down and learn when he needs to.
Tell me what love has done for Noah Lyles.
Man, you get humble real quick when you think you're battling everything by yourself, and then you realize that there's somebody there. It changes the outlook. We were having a hard conversation a few days ago where she said, it's okay to be the good guy sometimes and let somebody else be the villain. I ain't like hearing that because I've had to force myself to be okay with it to some degree. So it's hard to let go sometimes. But when you really look at it, yeah, I didn't start this to be the villain. I was just the one who was the most okay taking on that blunt force so that other people didn't have to.
Marcus, Noah seems to be one of those guys who loves to be hated, and almost he feels uncomfortable when he's not playing that role. And so what is your take just on his relationship to that idea of being the villain and feeling like he needs to be the villain?
He was thirsty. And he's like, if I gotta be the villain, like I'm a star. And you know, Noah's one of those guys, you get the sense that he believes I am bigger than you guys understand. Like I have that in me. So I think he was willing to be the villain. And I think his willingness to embrace it is what kind of separates him. But in the end, like he want to be loved, right? Like who doesn't? And to me, it's a big gangster just to say, I'm gonna talk crazy. I'm gonna back it up. I know in the back. And then while you're saying like I'm corny or whatever, I'm still gonna have a good time like dancing in your face, right?
Yeah, I love in the piece that Noah mentions his fiance, Janelle Bromfield, another track runner. Yeah. What does her role as the fact that she is someone that is in the same mental state, also runs, and understands what you need to fuel yourself is maybe taking on that villain role. What does it mean for her to be like, you know, you don't have to be that role. You can be the good guy sometimes.
Yeah, I loved it watching it, you know, as somebody who's been married for a long time. And, you know, I'm watching the great Noah Lyles, you know, get bullied by his wife or his wife to be. Like, yeah, Noah, welcome. Welcome to the fellowship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you can definitely see her impact on him, right? And if you're going to take on the world as he has, like he can see the benefits of, you know, having that security at home. And she's helping him see that, hey, people do love you. I know people can be hard, but a lot of people love Noah Lyles. Their relationship is worthy of its own movie, right? I mean, the fact that he went and got a Jamaican runner while he's sparring against the Jamaicans. Right. Supremacy, like, of track and field, like, to take the mantle that Usain Bolt left, right? They must really love each other, right? Because it was something born over a friendship and that bond. So he needs her now because he has these massive plans and he's trying to do something incredible. And, you know, everybody knows if you got somebody who loves you with you, it becomes a little bit more possible when you have that. Because track is an insane sport. Like it is a sport of suffering and deprivation and like just mental health.
Do we think that track could become a more, I don't know,
culturally significant?
Yeah, culturally significant sport.
You know, covering it, it's like, how is this not like a major American sport? You know, it is so entertaining and so dramatic. If it's mind blowing that it's not a bigger thing, right? But I do think Noah, who is really like a bit of a marketing genius in a way. He sees it and he's watched it work, and there's a part of him that knows it. And this is a good time for other sports, because the bottom line is the major American sports are just too expensive. People can't afford that junk, man. So track starts looking a little bit more, and we're seeing sports crop up, right? There's volleyball leagues popping up, and like,
flag football,
we're seeing it, because I think Noah is onto something in that people need something else, because like the average American family can't afford that.
I know we keep talking about like Asia and Bam Adebayo's future baby, like taking over the basketball world. Janelle and Noah's baby will absolutely take over the future of track. So we don't have to worry about how good this sport will be in the future. Thank you so much, Marcus, for coming out and sharing this story with us.
Absolutely.
All right, gang. You know that feeling when you learn something new and it just hits different, right? Where you're like, oh, let it wash over me. Like your brain just did a little victory lap because you are that person.
Yeah.
All right? Well, stretch those hammies out, because that's exactly what we're about to do. It's time for another edition of LFG Learning Feels Good.
Woo!
I give you a number and you pick which of the 4 options it belongs to. Let's get it.
Okay.
The number is 12. Is it A, the number of years since Justin Verlander threw 250 innings in a single season, the last time a pitcher reached that milestone? Is it B, the age NHL wonderkin Macklin Celebrini was when he moved from Vancouver to California after his dad got a job with the Golden State Warriors? Is it C, how many passes Darren Hoosh Doucette completed during last weekend's Fanatics Flag Football Classic, powering Team USA to the blowout victories over NFL stacked opponents? Is it D, the number of remaining regular season games Nikola Jokic must appear in to reach this ridiculous 65-game requirement in order to be eligible for the MVP award?
Oh.
All right, 12.
I'm gonna say C.
C?
Seem...
You got Daryl Hoosh Doucette.
That sounds
and
right.
his accuracy.
I'm gonna go D.
Ooh, Nikola Jokic. Sadly to say, the answer is B.
It's Macklin?
Macklin Celebrini. We're celebrating Celebrini, Canadian professional ice hockey center who was drafted number 1 in the 2024 draft, was 12 when his pops, Rick Celebrini, became the director of sports medicine and performance for the Golden State Warriors. As an adolescent in the Bay Area, Macklin spent a lot of time at the Warriors practice facility with his dad, getting close to an NBA team filled with household names. And Macklin would play pickup games on the team's practice court and has cited the Warriors' winning culture as something he hopes to foster with his current team, the San Jose Sharks. He was also the youngest player on the Canadiens men's Olympic team this year and led the entire tournament in goals for his team. Shout out to Gen Z, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Rick talked about how sad he was, like, just crying over that loss, but he's got a lot more Olympics in his future and a lot more goals to score. Well, that went by fast, y'all. Thanks to Keith Law for coming in. Thanks for Marcus Thompson for that awesome interview with Noah Lyles. Catch new episodes of The Athletic Show every Saturday first on Fire TV, and then head on over to theathletic.com for more of the best sports journalism in the world, baby.
World, Chris.
We'll see you guys next time.